His Highness founded the nation himself, and that on its own is very inspiring because he told us he was in Nairobi, 24 years old, and he found, that is in 1959, and he found Africans and other people fighting for independence, and they did not have a newspaper that they would engage in this conversation. And he said, this is not on, because the only paper that was there was a Standard, which was established in 1803. And honestly, at that time, and I think the Standard would agree, they were a mouthpiece for the colonialists who founded them. And he said, this is not on. And he actually bought the best printing press in the world at that time, started Nation, organized for editors, African editors, to be trained. And to this day, Nation embodies that vision, that purpose of now, long after independence, the purpose of working with the civil society, the purpose of focusing on our hopes, the purpose of focusing on our fears and how we can bring it all together to create development, to create a better society for our people. That is what he stood for. That is what he talked to us about every year. We used to meet because we were presenting budgets and all that. And no time would he not take the opportunity to talk about why we are there. We are there in order to work more or work better with the people who are not in that meeting, which is the civil society. And another word he used to use is intelligentsia. People who can make a difference, people who share a vision, people who are knowledgeable about how we can make a difference to our society. His Highness, I would easily say he's responsible for who I am today. My encounter with him before I joined Nation, I was a CEO of GSK, which was the second biggest pharmaceutical company in the world. I had occasion to meet the CEO of GSK, but I can tell you nothing comes close to meeting His Highness. His humility, his guidance, his purpose, and his vision of what a good society ought to be was very unique and different and refreshing. I know what I was doing at 24 years, and when I compare with what he thought about 24 years, when he was that age, I mean, it's like all hearts out for him. Because young man who should be thinking about many of the things that young men think about, but he was talking about a nation. He was talking about a society. And he was talking about how this society can become a better society. He has continued. He came for the nation's 50th anniversary. And I would encourage you to look at the speech that he gave during Nation's 50th anniversary. As true in 1959 as it was during the 50th anniversary. And he lived with a very clear purpose about why a nation should be existing. And he left it to be managed by those stakeholders. He did not interfere. We had lots of times when we would have difficult political engagements with political leaders across East Africa. He did not interfere. He said, as long as you're doing the right thing, as long as what you do can stand the test of scrutiny, over to you guys. Obviously, in one or two times that we screwed up, if I may use that word, he was also happy to tell us, hey, that's not the way. Do not forget your purpose. Do not forget why you are there. And actually, if you look at Nation throughout the times, after Nation, what came out? The East African, embodying the same spirit, now in a greater scale across East Africa, the Business Daily. So whatever he starts, or we start through his guidance, was something that was going to benefit society, was something that was going to be important to the publics who read or who watch that content.